Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you for stopping by to join me on my daily trade review and recap. It was a hot one. Nothing crazy. A lot's on watch, and we had a few nice small winners, and one small loss that actually turned around on us if we would have stayed in. But what do you do? And this is actually here it on the top. So let's talk about the loser first, right? Everybody always wants to talk about the winners. Let's talk about the loser. Um, Always, I wake up early. I check out the volume scanner. What's already moving? What did I miss? Recap on that. Are there any technical setups there? First thing. Then watching the news scanner. And then when something comes up that I like, add it to the watch list. If we find a technical setup, act accordingly, right? Great. Now we've got our watch list. This pops up on the news scanner. I like it because drones have been hot, and the United States has been all about that recently, trying to advance that sector, and we see support of that within the lithium theme this week as well, right? So, all things coming together, and we think, well, this could be pretty good. It's a big market cap though, so that's something that I typically don't play. But with the news, I think, you know what, okay, it should be fine. We slap the news pop. We put our stop loss below VWAP, and almost get it. We almost get it, right? Because we're in on this early, right? When the news hits, we jump in a little late, obviously, though, because we don't get the one-to-one. We miss it by just like a couple cents. It's brutal, and then we get stopped out, and that sucks because it comes right back, right? It literally comes right back. I could have stayed in this trade. I always preach, it needs to open and close either above or below your level, and it is what it is. And I think you would have got stopped out here if you did stay in the trade from there. And again, you would not have had those take profit levels. Whether or not you exited in the green or not, it's going to be up to you and your trading plan. But I got out right away. It's like, well, this isn't working. VWAP broke down. I'm out. Right. That was the our stop loss. So when it breaks, that's when we leave. However, into open, it double bottomed here. This is just it's clear as day, right? This double bottom, and just massive expansion after that. We've got our key level breakout, which happened pre-reversal signal, which is aggressive, and it's kind of been going all day. Now the thing is, and the reason I don't really like large cap stocks in the billions is you need so much inflow to move them percentage wise to make me happy, right? Like, sure, this is up 5% on the day, and that's really nice, but if this was a 10 million stock, it'd be up 200% on the day. And, as someone who only risks 3% of their portfolio typically, I prefer to see the parabolic movers. Not that this isn't good. This is decent. You want to just chill out and gain your 5% on the day and go home a winner. That's okay as well. But that's just the difference between the large cap and the small cap. Like, one has a lot of room for growth, and the other's pretty much full grown already, right? So yeah, that was kind of our loser. It would have turned around for us, but unfortunately, we do have to manage that risk strictly 100% of the time, right? Because you don't want to say, oh, it'll come back, and then it just keeps dying and dying, right? You can never have that happen. So let's get into it. ELAB, no news, skincare, microcap, posts, split, which we like, in high relative volume. So there's not much going on here, but we've seen Action Jackson last night, and then when the market opens, this thing just goes on a tear from 8 or 750 up to 19 almost, which is aggressive. We got a daily gap, which did not, even attempt to get to, and it was just downhill from there, right? So no news, right? There's no catalyst to drive volume. It's all speculative. Maybe some insider loading last night because there's no catalyst. Like, what's going on here? It's not even in theme. It's not a lithium. It's not a battery. Just suspect. But we watch it because it is, when we wake up in the morning, what had a large amount of volume. And it could, by all means, hit the 200, hit a reversal signal, get your key level breakout of VWAP, and go more. But we have to watch it to find out and wait, right? Wait for the technical setup. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't and dies, then you've dodged a bullet. Next up is GWAV. Now this actually did pretty decent. It had that movement last night, which gets it on the watch list. Then early hour volume. Then it holds the 200, and it tries to reverse a couple times. Ultimately, is breaking down though. New high of day here any bag holders here could have had the nice exit. But again, no news. But it is kind of on theme. So GWAV deals with recycling metals, and I'm sure there's a lot of lithium out there that needs to be recycled. So it's on people's radars, right? MNTS had a $15 million deal with Solstar Space. It's a microcap with high relative volume with a news catalyst, and we like that. So I had a pop last night, and then this morning just kind of chucking up to new highs. Ultimately dies down and can't form. Well, it does get the reversal, but it can't hold the key level breakout of VWAP, and we're just chilling. So, maybe this comes back a little bit later. It did have a catalyst, so it's worthwhile to keep on our watch list. But essentially, there was no entry model here because we couldn't really reclaim and base above VWAP. But it is what it is. Not all things that we watch, rip up. Or this would be a lot easier if that was the case. It's a lot of losers. No news, small cap, high relative volume. Again, recycling services. So that kind of was a sub theme a little bit this morning, but ultimately didn't hold up. CYN has news with Pepsi. They're going to be bottling their products. This was actually a pretty decent play. Textbook setup here. We got the news pop. We break down VWAP, but we hold trend, and then we reclaim. So we're entering on the reclaim. Our stop loss is below the breakdown low or the pullback low here. And you get that 1-to-1 and 2-to-1, really close, right? You could have taken profit here. I didn't. I don't get a fill there. So it's just the 1-to-1 scale up. And I actually added this up to the top for you guys as well, so it makes more sense. On watch, scale 75, scale 5, all out, stop loss triggered, right? Kind of see what each play is doing if you didn't already know. Next up was RDW. We talked about that. NVA, no news, but it's like on theme, rare earth metals. And what an absolute tear from 36 up to 74. And it's still chilling, right? So like you can see how powerful the lithium theme is for some of these smaller and mid-cap companies. And then we have SSKN. Now this is pretty decent, demonstrating promising results, treating rare variant of lymphoma, which is cancer, right? So cancer, autoimmune, and Alzheimer's, those big three diseases to hit. And it's the same exact setup where we have that news pop, the VWAP breakdown with trend hold into the reclaim of VWAP. There's our entry on the reclaim. Our stop loss is below the swing low. It's literally the exact same entry model. And then we get our 1-to-1. We don't quite get the 2-to-1. It is what it is, right? Sometimes these things will run 20-to-1. Of course, we just have our own scale out method, and everybody can develop their own. But nice play, right? Nice play. It is what it is. Of a good entry model that we are confident in taking and replicating time in and time out, right? SBLX. This was chilling. Probably one of our better plays today. This was like a crypto treasury news, but it wasn't for meme coin. It was for stablecoin, which I appreciate. 100 million on a 4 million company seemed okay. Just slapping the news pop, stop loss below VWAP at the time. It was down here. We get that 1-to-1 almost immediately. Get the 2-to-1, get the 3-to-1, and that 4-to-1. If you filled, I didn't get a fill here on that 4-to-1. Technically, that was our level. However, it's good enough, right? So, our original scale and then 2 more out. It's a nice trade. And then IMN. So this is not really the play that I would take, but I want to watch it into the future. And that's something that I don't really do a lot of is preemptive swing trading unless it's on GameStop. So they're going to present phase 3 results on ovarian cancer, the 14th to 17th here. So in a couple days, maybe this gets some volume. And if it does, if it hits my volume scanner, I already know that it has a cancer-based catalyst that I can slap and, we can scalp up. Okay? So just keeping an eye on this in coming days. And then we had a few other names as well with eyes on a couple lithium plays. SDTS, ST, CCC, really low volume stuff. But it is what it is. This is still on theme, lower market cap. That's got a lot of potential to run, right? And then the other was AQMS. Same thing here, right? microcap, not even a low float or a small cap, but itty bitty. And same thing. Like, look at this run up over the last couple days here, from 6 all the way up to now, kind of triple topping at 26. But a massive run on the entire sector. Now, I talked about this yesterday, how last year we got a Santa rally, which started pretty early in the fall here, but it came to a head near Christmas or early January there, with quantum, right? Everything that even had quantum in the name was going. It's got a pretty similar vibe this year with the lithium-based names, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that on the days, the weeks, and the months to come. And then on that note, lithium's great. It's an energy storage medium, much like hydrocarbons, right? Liquid fuel, your oil and gas, right? However, the energy density is a little bit different, much higher within the hydrocarbons than it is within lithium. So there are specific things that lithium is great for, the things that don't require a lot of high output, your vehicles or the drones, whatever, right? However, we have, cross-oceanic vessels, these ships. They're not ever going to be doing lithium anytime soon. It's the power delivery is not there. The energy density, this is like literal science. It's like 40 to 80 times less. So the amount you would need would be crazy, and it weighs too much to carry yourself. Aviation, all the airplanes, that's not necessarily going to work either. And then there's, the jets and the tanks and all the military industrial complex, that's still going to need oil. Industry at large, like a lot of the manufacturing, the energy and heat output that they require is still going to need to be that. Of course, some of this may transfer into nuclear eventually. However, there's still the logistics of that. Like, obviously, so tanks and jets still aren't going to get them because of the you get hit, the impact. Now there's a breach and whatever. And on that note, you got to insulate these reactors and stuff, right? It takes space. They're not itty bitty, but as future progresses, maybe. However, with that being said, lithium will make a great transfer medium for our nuclear energy. And on that note, we can also, I believe, use nuclear to generate e-liquids, right? Which is its own thing, right? Where we're kind of making synthetic fuels to replace traditional hydrocarbons. But just a note on that to end today's video, as these things are quite interesting and definitely going to shape our world in the years and decades to come, truly. So keeping an eye on everything. Still, our entire investment thesis relies on iRobot, the Will Smith movie. We got to get these robots, baby. And I don't know, just having fun with it. It's been really a good thesis for me throughout the last 10 years. Really, I've done fantastic on it. So we're just going to continue doing that until we get the robots, and then maybe we'll look for something else. So on behalf of myself and Miss Maya, our own residential roaring kitty here, thank you again. We'll see you later today for the GameStop video, or maybe I get it out in the morning. It's just long days. I produce a lot of content here, right? So we also are providing Magic the Gathering Arena content on Hello Good Game. If you ever want to play a game, jump over, and we'd love to have you there. So again, I'm just rambling here. Have a great day. That's the important part of all this, and I'll see you tomorrow.